buddy, what is up? Welcome to Duct Tape Dynasty. I am the Duct Tape Dude.
I'm the dude.
And it's week 8. I cannot believe it. Week 8. That's kind of scary for me, actually, because that means that next week is week 9, which is halfway through the NFL season. I can't accept it. I'm not ready for it. But regardless, it is here, and I'm still excited about it. So, yeah, week 8, man. A lot of games to talk about, a lot going on. You know, the trade deadline is approaching, and, man, there's some stuff moving around in the NFL. Lots and lots and lots to get to tonight. But most importantly is the picks, and we are a show that is all about you guys. So if you would, before we get started, minimize that screen, hit that subscribe button for us. The biggest thing you can do to let us know that you like what we've got going on. And one of the reasons that you can hit that subscribe button and follow us is because of this thing right here. We are giving away at the end of the year, as long as we can hit 300 subs, a signed, no kidding, Marv Fleming Super Bowl I champion jersey. It's JSA authenticated. There's the JSA authentication, all that stuff. And then next week, actually, regardless of how many subscribers we've got, we're giving away Stephon Diggs red jersey from Buffalo. We got a whole bunch more that we're going to give away. A lot of stuff, a lot of exciting stuff. So tell your friends. Let's get to 300 so that we can give away that Super Bowl jersey. That'd be pretty sweet. I'd like to get that. Maybe we shouldn't get to 300. Anyway, you keep hearing me say we, but you only see me. So let's bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, the co-host extraordinaire for tonight, Sir Dan. Dano, hey.
What is happening, dude?
How are you, man? How's life?
Doing great.
Yeah.
Well, I was doing pretty good until you just said we're almost halfway done the NFL
I know.
season. Like, oh my goodness,
dude, I am not ready for that. Not ready. Not ready. I mean, halfway. I know we still got all the playoffs and all that stuff, but still, I mean,
playoffs.
It's just that's one of these buttons, isn't it?
Come on, nail it.
Hello?
Now,
You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
dang it. It's not that one. Anyway, whatever. So yeah. All right. What the heck, man? What were we saying? Oh yeah. Halfway point through the season. I can't believe it. It's sad, but it's
So close.
I'm excited that we got football that's starting here in a little over half an hour. So let's see if we can get through this thing. So
Is that where all the Minnesota people are? They're getting all their Vikings gear on, face paint and everything, gearing up for the game.
That's right. Tonight we got the Vikings and the Rams, dude. Do you remember who you took? Did you take the Vikings or the Rams?
Vikings for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I think most of us went with the Vikings, and we shall see when we get there. But let's get into it right away because we've got a lot to get to. First item of business is actually, I didn't realize this, dude, but so Davante Adams, as we know, last week we talked about it. He got traded to the Jets. Well, the week prior, when he was still a Raider, he lost to the Steelers, right? And then he joins the Jets, and he lost to the Steelers again. So in a period of 7 days, he lost to the Steelers twice. And so there's a joke meme going around. There's a lot of them, of course. And this one is Davante Adams will now be signing with the New York Giants so that he can lose to the Steelers again.
The Steelers again.
For 3 weeks in a row. So that's, funny. Anyway, Davante to the Jets. Did you kind of get what you expected out of him last week? I mean, I know they didn't get the win, but is it kind of what you expected to see?
Yeah, for first game, he was with the team for less than a week.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, I think some people may have overhyped the what contributions he was going to give that week because of the Aaron Rodgers Adams chemistry from how many years has it been since they were on the same team?
I think
it's been
just
a few,
but couple, two.
But either way, like, I wasn't expecting him to light it up for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns or anything. But he's going to be still the normal Davante contributing there. He's going to be outstanding. But so anybody that wasn't overly impressed with his stat lines by any means, he was there for like 4 days.
Yeah.
So
expect to
that's
see
my thought, but.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Also a really good team as well. So
yeah. So, and actually staying on the subject of the Giants, let's go. Danny Dimes, one of my favorite quarterbacks. I saw this one out there. It has been 659 days since. Well, actually, it's been more than that now. When I pulled this little clip off the Instagrams, it was 659 days since he last threw a TD pass in MetLife Stadium, dude. It was on January 1st, 2023. So how brutal is that? In fact, the meme, as they have it, it's only been 245 days since the last NHL goal at MetLife Stadium. So they've had goals more recently than Danny Dimes has thrown a touchdown pass there. So, yeah.
What do you think? More of a Danny Dimes problem or offensive scheme problem?
I think it's Danny Dimes.
A little bit of both.
Danny. In fact, Kevin came up with a great Sportnik. You know, he's our cartoonist guy. He does little things like you see right here. In fact, check this out. Look at this, dude. Justin Herbert, Sportnik shirt. Huh?
Sportnik shirt.
Sportnik shirt, nice. Kevin.
Oh, yeah,
Kevin, I was going to call you.
Yeah,
I was going to call you and tell you that I received it, but I wanted to surprise you by wearing it on air. So yes, I got your package. Thank you very, very much. That is outstanding. So yes, sporting the Sportniks Justin Herbert jersey shirt tonight. I also got a mug back there, some cool stuff. But anyway, Kevin made us a Sportnik of Danny Dimes this year. And I think this one's spot on. Danny Dimes, the Family Guy, right? Yeah, whatever. That's a great
Quagmire chin there.
Yeah, that's a great Sportnik there, Kevin. I like that one. We got to post that one on the Instagrams. But anyway, okay. So that enough about the funny news. You know, there was some pretty big trades, and one of them that made the biggest splash, I would probably say, is this D-Hop going to the Kansas City Chiefs, dude. This is ridiculous at this point. Am I wrong? Like the Kansas City Chiefs, now they're the only undefeated team left because of the fact that the Vikings lost last week. But, bro, they are stacked to begin with, and now they're throwing this guy in there? What is happening? What is happening?
Dude, this is well, I mean, first off, you know, they had Rashee Rice go out. So,
yeah.
You know, can you imagine Rashee Rice on one side and Hopkins on the other? Like, holy smokes. But yeah, they have so many weapons there. You know, Kareem Hunt missed the, you know, however many games at the beginning of the season. Was that suspension? That was suspension, wasn't it?
Probably.
Whatever. But, you know, he's back kind of to, you know, his old Kareem Hunt self. And I'm interested to see with Hopkins on one side and Worthy on the other, you know, them both lining up on the same side, just kind of the challenges that gives, you know, opposing defenses.
Yeah.
But certainly with the injuries that the Chiefs have had at wide receiver, they definitely needed, you know, some sort of option. Who knew it was going to be Hopkins that they were going to go out and get? But I suppose, you know, there's a lot of people, you know, that were, you know, more attuned to the trade rumors or speculation going on, but there was a healthy Hopkins standing on the sideline quite a bit last weekend, and it was like, well, why isn't he being used? Why isn't he playing? And now we know why. It's because the Titans, right, didn't want to hurt any of his trade value and ruin whatever trade they were in talks with at the Chiefs at the time. So well, there you go. And by the way, I definitely appreciate the graphic there with the Titans wearing the Oilers blue. I love it.
Yeah, rubbing it in for you there. So sorry about that. Because, well, you know. Anyway, that's that. Do you think D-Hop now he finally gets a Super Bowl ring? Because he doesn't have one, right?
Geez,
I don't think he does.
I don't think so. But like, what better place to go to you know, be a Super Bowl contender than, you know, the team that's won 3 out of the last 5 or whatever the number is, and like 2 of the last 2, right?
Yep.
So, yeah,
they're the new Patriots. So, all right.
Oh, you heard it here first. The new Patriots.
Hey-o. All right.
Dynasty, is that what I just heard?
That's it. Well, they are at this point, dude. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So let's move on to our on a roll segment. Last week, you know, we do this every week. We have on a roll 4 players that we pick. It doesn't necessarily have to be the top stat leaders, whatever it can be. We've had referees that have made the top for whatever. The cool thing about it is that the way the champion for the week is picked is we actually put a poll out there on Instagram. We'll have all the information for that later. So you guys actually choose who wins the Duct Tape Dynasty Honor Roll Player of the Week each week. So that's kind of cool. But tonight, our first Honor Roll Player of the Week from week 7. I know we're starting week 8 now, but I can only pull one show together in a week. So this is it. So Jared Goff, 22-25, 280 yards, couple of tutties, and a 140 rating is what Jared Goff did. He is on a roll.
There it is. Fantastic.
Absolutely. You got the next one. Go.
All right, and his teammate, Mr. Jahmyr Gibbs, only 15 rushes for 116 yards. If I do that math right, that's a 7.7 rush per attempt.
You do that in your head?
2 TDs. I did, and you also put it on the graphic, so that was pretty easy for me. Thanks. 45-yard was his long for a rush. So you, sir, Mr. Gibbs, are on a roll.
Absolutely, that's a good one as well. Joe Mixon, this is his first time for sure on this. Coming in with 25 rushes, so he actually got the ball quite a bit to get his yardage. 115, so he's 1 yard shy of old Jahmyr Gibbs. But he got a couple tutties for himself, only 4.6 yard average and a 32 yard long. Nonetheless, Joe Mixon is on a roll. One more to go, and you've got it.
All right, and our last nominee, Mr. Lamar Jackson, 17 for 22, 281 yards. That by itself, some might think that's pretty pedestrian, but throw into that 5 touchdowns. That's right. Count them. 5 touchdowns, along with 9 rushes for 52 yards and a 158.1 rating. Holy smokes. Mr. Jackson is on a roll.
Absolutely. And he is a regular on our on a roll segment. He has won plenty of them. He's probably our MVP of the honor roll segment. But yeah, 158.1, I think 158.3 is perfect, right? I think that's what it is. So did pretty darn well
I'm
out
gonna
there.
trust you there.
Yeah, I'll go for it. I just made it up. It sounds good. So anyway, yeah, that's our honor roll segment. And at the end of the show, we'll let you know what the results were from the poll that you voted on. So with that, let's get to what we're all here to talk about, and that's the football. The 7 of us. How did it work out last week? I tell you what, things are getting shaken up. It's exciting. Let's get to it. Let's talk about last week. We all had a pretty good week. The guy who actually had the worst week was the guy on top, the Agman. Agman coming in at 9-6.
Kind of crunching him in there.
Yeah, so he allowed Sierra to catch up with him, as we'll see here in a bit. But all in all, pretty good week. We had 3 of us at 11-4. So Dave, Kevin, Sierra, 11-4. You, me, Wally, 10-5, and then we had old Andrew at 9-6. So
he was by himself in the cellar. Is that what I mean?
The lean
break, Andrew.
The lean is 9-6. So I guess he's kind of got that going with him. He's not totally alone. But any big real surprises out there for the games last week? I know that's the week that was, so it's old news. Kevin did put a comment in there about Deshaun's Achilles is on a roll right up his calf. That was tough. That was tough.
Did you see the slow motion instant replay of that Achilles just snapping like a rubber band? The reverberations up the calf muscle there.
Dude. Yeah, that was brutal. That was brutal. And the worst part about it was, the fans afterwards, they reported that they were cheering, but they were actually saying, "You deserve it." So, yeah, that was kind of like, oh, my Lord. All right. Moving right along from that one. Anyway, that's...
So Jameis Winston, is he getting the start now?
Yeah. There's so many graphics I wanted to put up for news this week because, Jameis Winston's coming in. Famous Jameis, baby. So who knows what's going to happen.
There we go.
Anyway, last week, that was the week that was. We all had a good week. What the heck? Let's talk about standings so that we can get the week to be. Hey, look at our lines. We're all headed in the right direction, Dan. We're all headed upward. So that's a good thing.
I like that.
You see, we definitely hopefully that's our low point there at the 30-yard line. You know, we could just keep climbing from here. But
yeah, I like how that kind of the top grouping there, everybody got just a tad bit closer together.
And I see your color is right up there. So the way it went, Agman used to have a 2-game lead on Sierra. And I was tied with Sierra for second, third. But now Agman and Sierra are tied at first. So first, second. I'm at third. You're right there at fourth, 64.5%. Let's see what I always try and read them on the the scrolling thing, but it's always off.
It's going too fast.
Yeah, so I've got them written down here. So Agman 71 and 36, Sierra the same. Myself 1 game back, 70 and 37. Yourself 1 back from that, 69 and 38. So that puts top 4 within 3 points.
All right.
Within 3 points of one another. So, or is that within 2?
There we go.
71, that's within 2.
Within 2.
Yeah. So anyway, then you've got just a slight drop off, 67 and 40 for Wally, 66-41 for Kevin, and Dave 63 and 44, but headed in the right direction as you see everybody. Like I said,
and there was a couple games there. What was it? The old Packers Houston game, which came down to a field goal at the very end, as well as not the very end of the game, but the Lions Vikings game came down to a field goal within the last half minute of the game or whatever it was. Just those 2 games itself. And actually, because the Vikings lost, as you alluded to earlier, only one undefeated team left. So Vikings were undefeated going into last week. So now they got the 1 loss, but 2 very close games there with field goals at the very end that could have kind of flipped things a little bit. Because the Houston Packers game, Houston Green Bay, that game was almost as evenly split as we could have it. 4 picking for one and 3 for the other. The Vikings Lions game was a little bit more separated, 5 on one side, 2 on the other, but 2 picked the Lions. So I mean, they're on the winning side of that. So that could have been just
look
another
at
thing that provided a little separation.
Of course, it's an orange check mark over there that got that right, but. She got the Patriots wrong. She got
both of those last 2 those 2 games with field goals at the end, both the Packers and the Lions. Orange check marks prevailed, but little disappointed in the Giants last week.
It didn't work out.
Pulling it off versus the Eagle at all.
Danny the chin dimes. I don't know. Anyway. Danny Dimes. I gotta find that picture again. That was such a good picture. Here it is. Let's put it back up. God, that's a great picture, Kevin. Nice. All right. Enough of that. So let's get back to that was the week that was. Let's talk about the week to be, right? The week that we are in.
That is.
The week that is starting right now. So new games of the week. Faded on over.
Woo.
All right, dude. Let's go through them tonight. Everybody on the Vikings bandwagon, despite the loss, they're going to bounce back against LA, right? There's no doubt? No doubt? Easy?
I mean, I got a little bit of doubt, but I still got to give the nod to the Vikings. I don't, they put up a good game against the Lions. They looked good. It just came down to the end. I think they got the talent, the scheme over the Rams. Rams are a great team, or they're a good team. But even with the Rams at home, I still have the Vikings in this one. How about yourself?
Yep, I think we all, looking at the check marks there, we're all on the Vikings. I think it's fairly, I want to say straightforward, but I'm always hesitant to say that because then we usually screw it up. So.
What are you going to do?
I'll just say, the Vikings are going to bounce back. Of course. I did hear some trade rumors, though, that there could potentially be a swap of those 2 quarterbacks. Can you imagine Matt Stafford over in Minnesota and then old Sam Darnold there in L.A.? I mean, who cares about Sam Darnold? But
I've also, speaking of trade rumors, have you heard anything about trade rumors with old Cooper Kupp since we're talking about the Rams?
Oh, I did see something, man. But
there's been a few things I've heard because of, and maybe we'll get to it here in a second. But with Bucks being two receivers down, old Mike Evans and Chris Godwin going down in this last game. I'm pretty sure Godwin, I don't know if it's announced that he's out for the season, but I wouldn't be surprised if he is. And then I'm betting Evans is out for a week or two, or maybe more. But trade rumors that I've heard at this point is Cup getting picked up by the Bucks to kind of fill a critical role there. That, I mean, they've lost two all-pro receivers.
Oh,
there.
yeah. I mean, their team dynamic changed massively last week. Actually, just a few days ago. So let's move on, though. Baltimore and the the Browns there. We just talked about old Deshaun Watson. Are you more confident with your check mark? Okay, so
I was about to ask you the same question. Do you think that's an upgrade or a downgrade now that Watson is in the quarterback?
Well, based upon the play of Watson thus far this season, I'm going to say that actually the Browns have a better chance now with old famous Jameis there. I'm more nervous, I guess I would say.
I mean, they are without Amari Cooper still, right? So this is their second week without him.
Yep.
So they don't have the same, threats that, deep threat that they had there. I mean, I think we talked about it last week. The target share going on with the Browns when Amari Cooper was there was just absolutely ridiculous in favor of Amari. It was freaking Deshaun Watson security blanket every time. Amari Cooper.
Yep.
Amari Cooper every single play. So. So I mean, they still got Jerome Ford in the backfield, so legitimate threat there. I think Jameis Winston might give them a little extra motivation. Maybe there's a bit of we're paying this guy Watson that is 240 million. So we got to play the guy. Like, you can't not play a guy that you're paying that much money. You can't pay somebody to sit on the bench. I mean, you could pay me that much money to sit on the bench. I'd take it.
Yeah.
But so maybe there's just pressure. You're paying somebody so much money, you got to play them.
Yeah.
So maybe now, from a just an organizational perspective, that gives them kind of the out that they needed there to get somebody with potentially better talent in the game.
I mean, it just flat out has not worked out for them so far.
Yeah.
So let's move on, though. The Colts and the Texans. Everybody went with the Texans except for the orange check mark went with the Colts, which makes me nervous as always. But why are the Texans winning this one? I mean,
Why are the Texans winning this one? I don't know. So honestly, I was a bit concerned when Richardson came back from his injury. I felt like the Colts offense kind of took a step back from where they were when Flacco was playing for whatever it was, about 3 weeks or so, maybe 4. But I felt like they were doing really well. And then Richardson came back. And then I started, like with any rushing quarterback that comes back from an injury, you see Richardson start, scrambling and, instead of, taking a slide, like, I'm sure they're coached to, like, hey, take a slide, especially coming back from, an injury where you've been out for a considerable amount of time. But just seeing the, kind of the guts that he has, maybe it's guts, maybe it's foolishness that, so he's putting himself out there.
Yeah.
But either way, I don't feel like the Colts offense was kind of doing what they were doing before. So maybe it's just an adjustment to get back to your, a new quarterback. The new old quarterback, getting back in the scheme of things or the routine of having the other quarterback in there. So we'll see. But I just think, the weapons that Houston has on both sides of the ball, I kind of see them dominating this game. So, for me, I think this is a 2-score win by Houston.
Oh, sweet. All right. I like it. It's a scoring update or scoring prediction.
Yeah.
So
there you go. Lock it in.
And actually on the Indy train there, Andrew right now, the Ag Man, is in Indy, I think, actually at Lucas Oil Stadium. Having the national FFA thing. So that's where he's at this week.
Tell him to drive 2.5 hours down the road over here to Dayton.
You'll buy him dinner, right? Why not?
Yeah, there you go. By the way, we need to take a break here for a second from football. I just want to point out that Miss Katie in the comments has said hi to me. So hi, Andrew's mom.
I love it. Oh, there it is. Great transition. Green Bay against against whatever that other team is out there that isn't going to win. The Jacksonville Jaguars, man, I think they're getting reverse jet lag this time because they went over, you remember, for 2 weeks this last
2
time.
weeks.
In fact, I think they lost last week, didn't they?
Oh, they did indeed.
Yeah, so that didn't work out for them. But now they get the reverse jet lag. So
wait, no. They beat the Patriots.
Did they?
So the them staying in London actually panned out for them.
Yep.
So
you are correct. You are correct.
You are correct, sir.
Yep. So there you go. But they're not going to win this
anyways,
week.
Playing a little bit better talent in the Packers. So yeah, not gonna happen this week for them. But I think obviously everybody sees it that way. So
I think the Lions game.
We win together, we die together.
Yep. I think the Lions game should be pretty cut and dry as well. Coming off a solid win, field goal win or whatever against you know
you gotta be feeling pretty good beating the last
one
NFC
of the last
undefeated team.
Yeah.
So,
I knew where you were going.
Huge. I mean, and that game had huge division implications, division rival as well. So they're coming off that game. Now they're playing at home against a Titans team that's just struggling. So
well, they don't have D-Hop anymore. So
oh, you know what? That too. So next man up, right?
Yep. And next game up. We got a split on this one finally.
Right,
Falcons Bucks. Now we just talked about, or rather you did, the fact that the Bucks just started falling like flies last week. They lost all their weapons, but we still got 3 check marks. Wally, Dave, and Kevin all going for the Bucks. I don't know, man. I don't know. You think the Bucks, I mean, obviously you didn't pick them. I didn't pick them. I think they're going to have to get a little bit lucky, even though they're at home, to be able to pull off a win this week.
We got any of these the folks that picked the Bucks in the comments? Maybe they can kind of chime in there and see what they saw.
Man, we are short on folks tonight. We've got I don't see Wally in there. I don't see Dave in there. I do see Kevin in there. Kevin, explain yourself. Why the heck are you going with the Bucks that have no receivers? Is it just to tick off Dan because Dan's a Baker Mayfield hater?
Yeah. So I'm interested to see if we see a change in the Bucks kind of offensive scheme, going from a lot of passing to the kind of I don't know if you want to call it a 3-headed monster at running back between White, Irving, and Sean Tucker. But Tucker and Irving had monster games when White was out. The two of them. So I'd be interested to see if we've got a more potent rushing attack, or at least rushing scheme, coming out of the Bucks in this game. I don't know exactly how the Falcons front line and linebacker core would deal with kind of an effective running game, but either way, I think what we can all agree on though is that the main weapons that make Baker Mayfield look like a pedestrian at best quarterback, like they're not going to be there. So he's going to go back to being a dumpster fire. So even when they were winning games and putting up 50 plus points, he was throwing 3 interceptions in a game. Like, what kind of quarterback does that? The Bucks are going to prove how vulnerable that they are now that they're all pro wide receivers are out. So what I say in the other game, Houston 2-score lead, win. This is probably going to be at least a 3-score win by the Falcons.
Wow.
Lock it in.
Wow. That's a hot take. By the way, Kevin's defense for picking the Falcons is the fact that the Falcons are without Kirk Cousins. So, and I guess I didn't realize they were without Kirk Cousins. So whatever. But the Jets have Devontae Adams, and he's actually had a week to practice, and he's going against a would you even call him mediocre New England team? But it does have an orange check mark once again next to it.
There it is again.
Yeah.
There's the other one.
I think finally the Jets and the Devontae thing, I think now they're going to be, some chemistry. I think we will start seeing the Jets do a little bit better here. I'm not saying that he is the all-saving grace that's going to save the Jets season, but like you said earlier, the chemistry, things are going to look a little better, I think.
I think the Jets are continuing to improve, and I think the Patriots, they got quarterback problems. Like, who's their starter this week? Is it same guys last week? Who's it, May or is it Brissett? Like, who's it going to be there? Not really impressed with either. So I think they're struggle bus right now. So I think the Jets win this one. And hopefully they do, or else Sierra's going to start pulling away at the top of the Pick'em League.
Yep. So the Cardinals and the Dolphins, everybody went with the Cardinals.
Who's check mark there? Is that?
That is my check mark. That's
that is you.
My flyer of a check mark there.
Are you just a Tua?
I'm on the Tua bandwagon, man. He's going to come back and save him this week. So.
All right, for everybody else, then, what's the over under on how far into the game that Tua gets another concussion and has to get taken out of the game?
What quarter is it going to be? Yeah.
I halfway expect to see Tua come out with what's the
the Guardian cap.
Yeah, the Guardian cap. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him come out with that. I mean, how does that work with throwing mechanics now that you have like a kind of an expanded helmet? Like would that affect you?
It's got to do something. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but I said, okay, whatever. I'll jump on the Tua bandwagon. Why not? So there you go.
Right.
That's my flyer for this week, trying to catch up to the other two.
It's you.
Then we got another even split. The Bengals, what is their record, man? It's not great.
No, it's not.
But the Falcons haven't been as amazing
quite
as
a few close games.
Let's see. Did I say Falcons?
I
meant Eagles.
The Bengals record, they're 3-4 right now.
Okay, so.
And the Eagles are 4-2. Eagles are probably the worst looking 4-2 team in the league. But the losses that the Bengals have had are, lost to the Patriots by 6, lost to the Chiefs, the undefeated Chiefs, by 1. They lost to the Commanders, high potent offense there. They lost to them by 5, and then they've lost to the Ravens with Lamar Jackson
and Derrick Henry
by 3. And Derrick Henry by 3. So the 4 losses that they've had have all been by 1 score or less. By 1 score.
Yeah, we get it. We get it. Well, I mean, it could be less than a score because if it's by 1 point, anyway, whatever.
So the losses that they've had, the 4 losses, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the 4 losses that they've have been by less than 20 points. So combined total. So they're a good squad. They've just played a lot of close games and lost those. And the other games that they've won have been by 10 points, 10 points, and 7 points. So honestly, they probably should have beaten the Browns by more than a touchdown, but I don't know if we just chalk that up to it was in Cleveland. It's an in-state rivalry game, but
play to your competition. I don't know. So,
but anyways, I am still pretty unimpressed with the Eagles' performance this year, even though they happen to be 4-2. I think that they
haven't been flashy by any means.
So what do they say? Good teams find a way to win the close games, right? So
I was going to say they're almost a little sneaky right now because they're quietly 4-2, even though everybody's watching them.
Anyway. But I will say, besides just friggin' laying it to the Giants this week or last week, 28-3. Their other victories have been beating the Browns. Again, we keep going back to the Browns. They only beat the Browns by 4 points. And then, their other victories have, again, been 1-score games. So even the games that they're winning are, extremely close. And you know what? I guess to their credit, their one of their 2 losses is by 1 point to the Falcons, and then they got beat pretty handily by the Bucks as well. But that's kind of why I picked the.
It's sound analysis.
I'll I picked against the Eagles rather than the other way around. So
Okay. You picked the Eagles to
rather than,
lose more
for
than
the Bengals.
Yeah, fair enough. We all went with the Chargers, which I'm always nervous on that. Anytime I pick the Chargers because they're the Chargers, but I love them regardless.
I mean, maybe here I also, so I will say I'm pleasantly surprised with the Chargers' performance this year. But in this one, I probably, or not probably, it was more of a picking against old Spencer Rattler than than any confidence I have in the Chargers, really. So Rattler, I think it's been a rough go so far for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it not only my lack of confidence in him, like I said, the Chargers have been pleasantly surprising how well they've done so far this year, even though they had a 500 record right now at 3-3.
Yeah.
But say sitting at 2-5, Rattler is 0-2 as a starter. Has he been around for 2 weeks so far?
I think it was just one. Was it one or two? I don't know. His overall. No, it's got to be 2 games because he's 47-75, 415 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and his quarterback rating is 70.7. So that's for this season. Yeah. So he's had a couple games, but anyway, all right, we got to keep going because there's a game about to
keep
start.
It going.
All right, the Buffalo Bills there against the Seattle Seahawks. We've got one, and it's Kevin for the Seahawks. Kevin, explain
Kevin
yourself.
likes those Flyers.
Yeah, I think this one. Yeah, I don't even. Let's move on. It should be a fairly easy one, right? The next game is.
I don't know.
I mean,
Seahawks
at home is always scary because they're so freaking loud.
There, right?
Yep. But yeah, I just they've been on a downhill. The Geno Smith thing. It worked out that first year. It was like, all right, man, holy cow, the resurgence of Geno, and he's just been. I mean, not downhill, but it definitely hasn't been uphill since.
Yeah, well, and the Seahawks are a bit of a, kind of an enigma this season, kind of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. They started off really strong 3-0, and then over the next 3 games, they went 0-3.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, what are we going to get here? And then, they pulled off the victory last week. I shouldn't say pulled off the victory, like it was a close game. They beat the Falcons in Atlanta 34-14. So, that was a pretty impressive victory. So I'm not looking at Kevin Pick over there as some outlandish flyer. I think, the Seahawks are a strong club playing at home with the 12th man there against a Bills team that, again, maybe struggling a little bit from where they were last season, but interested to see how Amari Cooper kind of continues to fit into the offensive scheme there. So I don't necessarily think that's a bad pick to go with the Seahawks, but I just give the edge to the Bills in this one.
Yeah. By the way, that was super cool with Cooper looking over at old Keon Coleman. And Coleman's like, no, run this route, and then he goes and gets a touchdown. It was awesome, man. That was pretty sweet.
Does Coleman get any credit for that?
I think he gets an assist.
Like a 0.5. Yeah.
He got a half sack, half touchdown. All right. The Commanders against the Caleb Williams led Bears. Of these next 3, I would say that's probably the game that has the most or the closest likelihood of going the other way. I have zero faith that the Raiders with Devontae Adams list Raiders can get over the Kansas City Chiefs, even though it's in Las Vegas.
No.
Bryce Young is coming back for the Panthers, and they're in Denver. So, I mean, that seems straightforward.
Is Bryce coming back just because of Andy Dalton performance, or does this have anything to do with the car wreck that he got in?
It's the car wreck. Yep. That's
right.
So Andy Dalton, big car wreck.
That's the excuse.
I guess so. That's what they're going with. So it's better than
You
an
should,
Achilles. So, you know.
You should have. I should have talked to you about putting a graphic up. You should go look it up after this. But it's a graphic of Andy Dalton was just struggling last week. There's a picture of him on the sideline, just maybe looking pseudo frustrated, and then there's Bryce Young just kind of standing, kind of behind him, beside him.
Send it to the group chat, dude.
Smirk on his face, and he's like, "Yes, I'm coming back in. You know it."
Yeah, watch me. So
all right. Well, Panthers. Yeah, they're trying to mix it up. Bryce Young, Andy Dalton, but I mean, you're going to get more of the same with Bryce Young in there. So, of those 3 games you just covered, yeah, I agree with what you said. Initially, if even though we all are 100% in agreement, all the check marks on the same side. If there's any game that has a potential of going the other way, it's the Bears over the Commanders. But I still don't see it in that one, even though the Bears have kind of surprised me this season. But I guess we'll see. But I still think Commanders.
Well,
win
I'd say the Commanders more so have surprised. I mean, it's not that we expected them to be bad with their pickups in the offseason, but I mean, they're rolling pretty good. Their new QB is working out for them, and it's kind of cool to see. So let's move on to Sunday night football because the game is 2 minutes away from starting. And Kevin, yet again, so is this a third flyer for Kevin? Has he had to explain himself 3 times? He went with Dallas on this one. We all went with San Francisco. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm pretty nervous about this one. And it's because the meme I saw right before we came on the show was the San Francisco logo redone to be a wheelchair. Because everybody on San Francisco is injured. Ayuk is gone. This guy's gone. I mean, it's just like the friggin', Buccaneers last week. Everybody is injured on San Francisco, but Dallas has just been what? I mean, not a dumpster fire, but they got some issues.
That's legit. Dumpster fire is probably a good way. It's just kind of the franchise motto there. So every year you get the dim boys fans that just kind of preach how well the Cowboys are going to do, and maybe some of the talking heads out there fall into the hype. But like every year, it's kind of the same old story with the Cowboys, and maybe one year they'll get a new general manager at some point, and get the roster kind of re-wickered a little bit, but. We're seeing it again. I think I said at the beginning of the season that the Cowboys, they don't have a rushing attack. They brought back Zeke, but he's past his prime. Dowdle, young running back, but he's not the answer for as far as being a workhorse there in Dallas. So if they were smart, they'd try to bring somebody in before the trade deadline or. In the off season to kind of shore up that running back position.
Yeah, they need some help.
With this, even with all the injuries that the Niners currently have, I still think the Cowboys are so inconsistent. You know what? Inconsistent doesn't mean that you're bad. It means that you're not consistently good. So you could be bad for 2-3 weeks in a row. And then the Cowboys could come out and just freaking blow out the 49ers and, beat them by 4 scores.
That's what I'm a little worried of. Is that Dallas is just going to all of a sudden be firing on all cylinders like they did in like week 1 or whatever it was. When it was like, holy cow.
Kevin's going to be leaning back saying, I told you this is going to happen. You're welcome.
I love it. All right. So Monday Night Football, we get
Monday night.
Kevin's actually a New York Giants fan. But he's not enough of a Giants fan to pick him as a homer. So we all went with I don't know who's going to be the quarterback Steelers. It's Russell Wilson now, but could be Justin Fields at any time. I mean, the Steelers, whatever. Mike Tomlin, regardless of how messed up their situation is or it could be or gets with their quarterback or any other room for that matter, their receiver room, whatever. Mike Tomlin, he's just that guy can put anything together. Like, he'll just make it work. And so that's why I went with him. And of course, we saw the Danny Dimes meme earlier, but that's
we talk about how inconsistent the Cowboys are. Talk about the model of consistency with the Steelers coaching staff there. Like, I think that they're on the right track there. They have the personnel there. On the coaching staff that they're going to take, roll with the punches as they can with injuries there. They have, Russell Wilson, say what you want about him, but as a backup QB, like, holy smokes. If you told me Russell Wilson was the backup QB for my team, then like, awesome. Great. I've got somebody with, great experience backing up my young quarterback with, a couple years experience now with Fields. But yeah, actually, it's, again, speaking of model of consistency, like, I think the Steelers have had in their franchise history 3 head coaches.
Yeah, it's
total, like, ever.
Yeah, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin, and somebody else.
Yeah. Hey, throw it in the comments there.
Kevin knows.
Yeah.
So
so I think even with Russell Wilson at the helm there, I think I think the Steelers roll with this one.
I agree, obviously, and that's why my check mark is on that side of the paper. And that wraps it up. That is all the games for this week, and we just got it by kickoff. One thing left to do. Let's announce our winner.
By the way,
go ahead.
Chuck Knoll, coach for the Steelers, pre Bill Cowher.
Nice. Okay, so you're our looker upper guy, whatever that is, our stats guy. Yeah. Chuck.
Yes,
no,
Google.
I guess Sportniks put it in there, didn't he?
Oh, did you? Sorry. I'll give credit there. That's where I saw it. Thanks,
okay,
Sportniks.
good deal. All right. So, like we said during the beginning, when we do the honor roll is voted on by you. This week's honor roll player of the week.
Can I give my?
Yeah.
Can I give my guess, or is it up already?
Go ahead. No, I haven't put it up yet. Go
Derrick
for it.
Henry. It's got to be Derrick Henry, right? Without a doubt.
Well, he wasn't even on there.
Lamar Jackson, the other Ravens.
Yeah, the other Ravens guy. Yes, absolutely. 5 touchdowns, man. You can't. I mean, come on. 5 tutties. That's
Nailed
ridiculous. Almost a perfect passer rating. Just 0.2 off of perfect passer rating. At least the way I calculate it. I don't know. Whatever. But Lamar Jackson, absolutely on a roll, and I think we'll probably see him up there again at some point this season. So, with that said, let's get out of here. Let's go watch some football, man.
Do we want to change this podcast into just a play-by-play?
Yeah, let's do it.
Show we can just pull up the game.
Sure, I'll just. No.
By the way, also to fact check you, what did you think the highest rating was for a quarterback?
158.3.
The answer is 158.3.
Okay. Good deal.
Nailed it.
You scared me there. So,
or so says Google. Like,
okay, I'll go with Google on that one.
We'll believe Google and you. I believe you, Josh.
Of course, the dude. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, here's all our socials and stuff. You can check us out, man. It's self-explanatory, but the key here is just take a screenshot of this and then go back to your camera roll later on, and you can just hold your thumb on any one of those, and it'll take you there. Okay, so fairly self-explanatory. The one with the YouTube logo is the one you're on right now. All the rest of them there. The bottom one, the Sportniks, he's the guy that did the shirt and all the little characters you see down there. So give him check it out. Check it out. Dan, thanks again for co-hosting. You're extraordinary. Your analysis is on point, and I appreciate you. And
all right.
Any last words before we get the heck out of here?
No, just enjoy a great weekend of football coming up.
All right. Well, we love you all. Y'all are the absolute best. Be well. Cheers. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.